So the Lift and Chill tour started very on a friendship level. LS had an idea. He always travels after the Arnold. That's just kind of his thing. And he invited me. He said, bro, let's just get on an Amtrak and let's just travel across the country.
It literally took maybe 5-10 seconds. He's like, no, let's do it even bigger. Let's hop in a truck and let's just drive from coast to coast.
It just kind of evolved, and then I just told everybody about it, and then I wanted the whole crew to come, and then just got to something that became a company initiative, and we pulled it off. So
from that point, it was just like, man, it's gonna happen. No, but really, it's gonna happen. And what started off as us just kind of brainstorming, 4 or 5 months ago, it started to kind of come together, and the next thing you know, it happens, and boom, we're going.
My people.
So,
How did you beat me?
I tried to tell you.
So we all flew into Sacramento that evening. We all met at the airport, and then from there we just went to our Airbnb. So we stayed at Airbnbs for the majority of this trip because they just ended up being a little bit cheaper than hotels.
Hold on. I need to take a photo.
Oh.
That is cute.
okay, I can't take this off.
We woke up and went to go pick up the car, or I should say the behemoth of a car that we would spend the next 2 weeks driving across the country in.
Sacramento was, I think, probably the best way to start it off, to be honest with you, because it didn't throw you into the fire of a ton of people.
Going to super training, that's for a lot of lifters that don't know, who and where super training is, man. It's Mark Bell's gym. I mean, and everyone who knows anything about powerlifting knows Mark Bell he's a pioneer in the game. So to be able to go there, that was just an awesome experience. There were a lot of open arms, man, and you get to know a lot of these individuals through social media, and you never know what to expect when you actually meet them in real life. And meeting the guys, shaking their hands, and them showing us, giving us a tour of the facility, and just being as hospitable as a host could be, it really set it off.
I think the cool thing about that stop was we lift weights a lot. That's kind of our core fundamental thing. And so for us to just literally go and lift weights, it was just a cool stop. And I think meeting everyone there, seeing how humble they still are, and seeing how they have a business model that's still familial, and it's still like very tight-knit and tight group, because the Novo does the same thing, and I don't see a ton of it, but to see it was kind of cool.
Super training was not what I expected it to be, in a good way. I kind of was expecting more of a paparazzi type experience from what you see online, and it wasn't that. It was actually more intimate than I expected, and pretty chill. Everybody was really warm and welcoming. Yeah, the only downside was that I came into it sick.
The atmosphere was it was kind of electric, man. It was, I can't think of a better way to actually start.
I've already been there 2 times, so I've trained there with Mark Bell and Silent Mike, and I really enjoyed it. So it was particularly exciting for me to go back there, and I also know several people that train there from outside of Novo who were going to be there and train with us as well. So I was really excited, and honestly it just felt like going back and training with friends. You just kind of get lost in the training and enjoyment of it, and it was a special moment too to have Novo there. Overall, I really did enjoy it, and it was kind of like the first stop and most excitement, because I had just been like thinking about this tour for a long time.
It was intense, a lot more than what I'm used to, especially lifting at a gym like MI40, where it's essentially empty most of the time, and for the most part, it's pretty quiet. Like if we're lifting there, like me, Ben, or Ryan, then there's not really much noise going on. So I'm not used to that, like the crowd of like watching somebody lift. Yeah, it's different, and it's not, that doesn't mean it's bad or anything. It's just not what I'm used to. So yeah, in that sort of environment, I just become more reserved. So that's probably like a selfish way of putting it. Like I'm saying everything from my perspective, but that's only real one I have.
I think all the females at this training session kind of had the majority of the attention because they were just getting it in. Like,
my first impression was, this is gonna be good. It just seems like complete awesome energy, very much just the type of training that I like. So it was really easy going and flowy. And
she's definitely gonna kill when she hears this. The thing about Pam that I think I like the most is the fact that, dude, she has so much heart. Dude, she has so much heart. And she has like a lot of emotion. So for me personally, as an emotional individual, I tend to flock toward people that are that way. She's just good people, man. I don't know. And then on the tour, she was the sweetest person on this freaking earth. And I knew she was going out of her way to try to get to know me.
I felt like Pam, for whatever reason, felt perhaps more comfortable to reach out to me, and I got to know Pam on a new level that I don't think I really knew before. And I think it just was sheer virtue of us spending more time around each other.
I think Pam's legitimately the first woman that I genuinely like have a platonic love for as a friend. I think Pam has mentored me in so many ways that she does realize, but she doesn't realize either. We have this thing where we literally just share vulnerabilities, like what have you been struggling with, what have you been fighting with, and we just literally just share with each other, like straight up. It was a growing experience, just like to see her presence in situations, to see how she reacts, to see how she falls back, like to see how she like separates from the group when it's time to be quiet, or I kind of look up to her like in a motherly way.
I love Pam. She's a beautiful human. She's just warm. She's just a warm person. She genuinely cares.
Pam is one of my favorite people on this planet because she is just one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met. She's very just genuine.
I really enjoy just talking to her and being around her, and she has a really good energy that I find very calming. It was great to be able to be on this trip and get to know her over the course of a couple days as opposed to just like one time.
I really enjoyed training there and meeting all the people. And that was just a great way to kick off the tour.
I say it all the time and it sounds like it's like a play, but like I'm just such a normal person, dude, and the fact that like we have this thing, it's like it's beyond me. Like I can't hold it. Like I can't control it, and it's just like a gratefulness that I don't think I could get anywhere else.
All right, where from here?
LA. No, Korean barbecue first.
I think that was the point where I knew like this is gonna be something special. Roll out day 2.
Caffeine and Kilos, super surprising stop, because that was thrown on us the next morning. LS was like, yo, let's go holler at Charlie and Danny. We get in there and we look at the office and I'm like, man, this kind of looks like our office. And then like we see their stock room, I'm like, bruh, this looks like our stock room. Like these dudes are, in my mind, Caffeine and Kilos is like, in the fitness industry, they're like it. Like they're like a brand that like I would love to be like, and they're like their level of growth and like just where they're at. Like I think like they're like everything. And to see that like they're doing what we do. They have like fun shit in their office, and like they like their color on the walls was like the same color I think we just picked, very close or similar. And it was just to see like a minimal staff. I think they have 5 people. We operate literally off the same size, and just to see that like these dudes are doing the same decisions we're doing. It was so impromptu, and their attitudes were just like us in terms of just like showing people love who come to their home spot.
We were trying to ride around that little 2-wheel scooter thing. I almost died. Katie almost died. Ben was giving a deadlift tutorial for the Caffeine and Kilos, I think, YouTube channel. It was just epic. Ben is always really great at explaining any type of lift to anyone of any skill.
They were very warm and welcoming, and it seemed like appreciative for what we did do with them, as far as like, you know, some form videos and stuff like that. Katie just annihilated me and pinned me down and dominated me, and I was her bitch in ping pong. Yeah, it was cool to see their office set up. They seemingly have a pretty good flow with stuff going on. People seem to be happy, like especially, I forget what his name was, but the guy who was packing the orders, he seemed to genuinely be happy and enjoy what he was doing in his job. And they're doing a lot with, again, seemingly, I think most people would probably assume they have a larger space than they do for how big they are. And they're doing a lot with not really a warehouse, if that makes sense.
Man, I think it was just so cool to see that, you know, just from a business owner perspective. Also to see how people who have made it still kind of treat people the same, and they've just always kind of treated people. And I've strived to be like that. Not even necessarily just staying humble, but just like, just staying yourself and not getting lost in the sauce, you know what I'm saying?
That night we got into LA relatively late. We stayed in Redondo Beach. This was Ryan's father's house, and Redondo Beach is one of my favorite places of all time. I kind of just decided to put my stuff down and go for a walk, and like a few other people came with. And you know, we walked around the pier and the beach, and you can go walk the streets there any time of day. It's safe. So we woke up the next morning and went to breakfast on there's a coffee shop on the pier. So I go to this coffee shop every time I'm in Redondo Beach, because I'm a huge fan of the OC. This is the coffee shop that they filmed the show in. LS had never been there, and LS is a huge fan of the OC as well, so I just thought it was really cool that it was the first time he's seen it.
You know, sit in the actual booth that Ryan and Seth sat in, that was dope. For me, that was, you know, that was kind of the beginning of the bonding experience between, you know, myself and everyone else, because it was something near and dear to me. I'd never been that close to a beach. Walk out the front door, you know, literally walk a couple hundred feet and actually hear the ocean.
Going outside in the mornings and walking around or running right alongside the beach essentially, and going on the pier and stuff was pretty incredible.
Hola, me llamo Ryan Doris. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am woman. Believe me when I tell you.
How many people are together? 4 or 5?
I do not like to be interrupted. No. It's not possible. I am happy. No.
You know, when you're around someone who's just so contagious that makes you better, I just think that's the best way to describe it. Like, whenever I'm around Ryan, I always just feel like a better human being.
Dude, that guy gives me courage. On this trip, man, I mean, I literally have been watching and sponging off of him and just watching, you know, just how he operates and how he's willing to take the L for the greater good, man. And so literally every day it's something new about him that I learn. He's willing to put everything else in front of himself for the greater good. And that's a quality that not a lot of people have. Any leader that's willing to get down in the trenches, man, I'm willing to get down with, man. I love that dude.
My experience on this trip is more so just like appreciation, because if it wasn't for him, like, I wouldn't be on to Novo. Like, I wouldn't know any of these people. He has always had my back and always been a huge supporter and influence, even in my life in general, my career choices and with my fitness pursuits. A lot of love and appreciation for everything that he's done on this trip and just in general in my life.
I admire Ryan in many ways. So just to be around him and see that energy, and just to really see each time I get to hang out with him, how much he's grown, and he just loves on people and really just brings that energy and kind of brings people together. So he's kind of like that conductor, and I enjoy seeing that. Again, it makes me smile.
Almost all of my time is spent with him, you know what I mean? So, but I think one of the primary things is that he's good at things that I'm not good at and that I don't really have a desire to be good at, and that's what makes it a good kind of marriage of this. I think going into a lot of places where it's almost like too much for me, like those small tight groups where there's, you know, a large amount of people in, I think he can get charged for that, and for me it's like completely exhausting and draining, which is good, because if we were all like that, that would be it'd be very underwhelming for people, I think.
When he's in his element, it's pretty incredible. It's just a skill, like he's a social butterfly, very, very truly. I think he got down on himself a little bit, or at times, because he didn't think that perhaps he organized it as well as he thought he could. There really were no major hiccups in the entire trip, so I was very impressed with how well he was able to get things on time and kind of get everybody coagulated and moving each day. So.
Did you disturb someone's peaceful breakfast?
I disturbed the rude bitch's breakfast. Yes, I did. I did that. Yes, I did. She was very rude.
Oh man, LA.
LA is LA. LA is special. There's no people in the United States like people from LA. Because LA is everything you want to be, and then you get there and you realize it's everything you can't be. It's cool. It's cool. It is cool, you know, and you're always chasing cool.
Barbell Brigade was, that was the one time that we all got a chance to train. So for me, it was cool being able to look around and seeing everyone train. I mean, Joe and Tina, you know, shout out to them, man, because I mean, that's their stomping ground. And obviously they showed us love from the time we walked in to the time that we left. I mean, they're huge supporters of Novo. Hold up! What you know about the Novo fan right there? What's up? What's up? LS right here. We're starting to eat. Everyone's trying to eat.
Everybody's just trying to eat.
Listen, we're starving in this bitch.
Hey!
No. Boy, more than enough on that screen, man. Yo, I was having a chance to meet a lot of the members of the Novo tribe that I had not had an opportunity to kind of converse with in the past. That was super dope. Seeing, you know, Ben training and Ryan right alongside me training, and then, you know, looking across the way and seeing B-Dub pulling, and, you know, Katie's over there squatting, you know, Pam's over there pulling. So it was like everybody that was on the tour at the time, you know, Jake's over there benching, like everybody's grinding. We got a chance to talk with a lot of people, and we had a lot of late people that showed up late that ended up, you know, kind of seeking us out and talking with us and everything. So
that was really cool to, you know, just meet people that you've interacted with, possibly like online or not in person yet, and you feel like you know them really well, and then to meet them in person. And so I enjoyed training there and seeing also some other people that I know from the LA area that I don't get to see very often. It was definitely a different atmosphere than I'm used to in terms of like the gym environment, very loud. So definitely getting a taste of a different gym atmosphere. I don't think I could do that every single time. I really enjoyed it just being there for one day.
I did get to see 2 of my clients there and help them out explicitly, but I would say that was a highlight. I got to meet one of my clients, Elliot, and another client, Ivan, both really down-to-earth guys. Once you actually get to meet them in person and just talk to them face to face, I'd say that's pretty invaluable.
My first impression, beautiful facility, beautiful equipment, and just a lot of people just wanting to come and be a part of something. They have a, you know, good thing going for that area, and what, you know, bringing people together and feeling like a part of something. So that was pretty sweet.
I think Barbell Brigade people, thank you to Sarah and Ren for like putting us up there, and thank you for the connection to have us up there and having the team go up there. And thank you to everybody at Barbell Brigade who showed us love. Like, I've heard so much about barbell, and it looks cool, it feels cool, like it is cool, like it's the thing to do, it's the thing to be. And I think going there and realizing it, it's like...
Barbell Brigade was the internet in real life.
Yeah, it was.
It was the internet in real life. The internet came to life. It was like entering the Matrix. Like I walked in and I was like, holy shit. So yeah, it was cool, it was different. It was LA. There we go. Where to? Hi. Hi. Arizona. Hi. Oh, we may have to eat tonight.
Hatch.
Barbell Brigade. Hatch. Thank you, Barbell Brigade, for having us.
Thank you, Brandon.
Sarah, I know you missed me, but
Brandon.
We'll be back.
The perks of America.
This is a premium SUV. Dude, I was like, what do I have? They're like, sir, you have the full size. I said, no. I need the premium SUV. They said, sir, but I said, I need the premium, ma'am.
I'm a little slow on
And she said, okay. You know what they told me when I told them I needed the premium? They said it's $80 cheaper. I said, goddamn right, that's America. Goddamn.
Yeah, the real drive started when we left LA. That drive wasn't bad. It was nice. It was scenic. Like, I loved it. Like, you go out there and it's just like, you leave the beach and then it's like, okay, it's a little, all right. And it's like, oh, there's less trees here. Okay, it's like less vegetation. And then like as you're driving more and more, it's just like, oh, this is just like desert. Like there's just nothing. There's just like nothing here. Then out of nowhere, like we get these windmills, and the windmills were awesome.
In unison, without saying anything, we were all like, let's pull over.
I can't really describe it. I don't know why. It did mean more. This stretch of Palm Springs where there's probably like a mile or more of just windmills. I still can't actually put into words what it was, but it just felt right and felt like it felt like it was peaceful.
And not to be a pessimist, but I don't often have these. But there was a moment where I was like proud of the human race, that we could actually like harvest what is there, and that like we are actually trying to like live sustainably.
The openness, it was refreshing. Like it kind of refilled me to some degree after all of the sensory overload of California and the speed and the pace of that type of place.
LS and Ben are in the field just kind of chit-chatting for a minute. Next thing you know, Pam and Ryan and Katie start breaking out in yoga and just doing their thing. And I'm just filming this because I'm like, man, this is amazing.
And it was amazing just to see like humans doing something cool, like not even about lifting weights, or like just to see like, you know, like people do care and give a shit about sustainable energy. So that was cool. And I think that drive was so easy. Those are the 6-hour deals.
This was kind of the start of what started to feel like you're entering the black hole of the trip. You start to notice like the group dynamic of what it's like to be in a car with 7 other people. It's more so like just trying to find a balance of like having your own personal space while you're rubbing knees with the person next to you, and also, you know, getting the work done that you need to get done while out on the road, sleeping, eating, and just kind of being like a sane human being throughout that all. And it kind of takes a toll on you, but at the same time, it's like you have to have that kind of camaraderie between the people that you're with in order to find a balance between how you can all work together to just kind of alleviate everyone's kind of issues on a daily basis.
I feel like we stop when we need to. Nobody's crabby. We have such a great group of people. No one person's ego is bigger than the other. It's just very, I don't know, I think that our energies work really good with each other, that it just seems good so far.
I feel like it does bring you closer to those who you travel with, because you're all in a car together. Like, you're gonna stop at the same time, you're gonna, you know, stopping to get food, you're gonna eat at the same time, you're gonna go to the bathroom at the same time. You're stuck together in that car, so you really have an opportunity to have conversations that are, you know, you're there with each other.
Wow.
Where are we heading today?
First, we're going to McDonald's. Then we're going to Tyler Mirror has the gym, TNT Fitness, out here. We're in Phoenix, Arizona.
Getting out of California is the first time we got to meet the Novo people. Because visiting California was literally like that. We were like, let's just visit California. Everywhere else, we were like, let's go see the Novo people. And so from there, Arizona kicked it off. Like, Arizona is the thing that got it started, that got the party started.
We literally opened up, immediately met by the people from Apostle Barbell. Dude, that was, from that beginning, they literally set the tone in terms of love. There was just so much love and so many people and so many just, I don't know, man, there was a lot. It doesn't sound weird me saying it, but there was like a lot of smiles, man. Like, people just having a blast.
And the equipment was insane. We all got a chance to train again. Katie and Ryan are squatting and benching, and LS is squatting, going ham. Jake and Ben are benching in the corner, and everyone else is kind of like interacting with everyone that came out to hang out with us.
I guess it was really the first time where I was like, wow, all these people are like here to see us and just hang out with us. I was able to talk to a lot more people between my lifts and get to know a lot of the people that were there.
I'm always having this constant battle of like, Katie posts things on Instagram and stuff like that where she's like squatting I don't know how much, several hundred pounds, and I'm like, was that more than I did?
She reminds me of like home, like I'm from the Midwest, and she embodies like so many Midwest things. And so like to be around Katie and her energy, like she literally reminds me of like safe. And I don't do too many safe things. My job isn't safe. I don't drive safe. I don't sleep safe hours. I don't work, like I don't do anything safe. And so like when I run things by Katie, I always get mad because she's not impulsive at all. Like she always like levels me. And so I'll see in like a week she was right about something. And so for her to be here, it smooths me out. And I need to be checked. I need to be smoothed out. Like I'm a fucking wild cannon sometimes.
Another person I felt like I got to know way, way better. She is on my short but ever-growing list of just generally good people.
Coming in, being able to just kind of get to know each other more as people and stuff, and actually talk about things outside of lifting and just what we did and our journey, I guess, to where we are now. It's actually made me really develop a much deeper, more well-rounded relationship with her, which is cool.
She's just like a little kid in a candy store. It seems like just super stoked, super happy, and just is a cheerleader. So for everybody, and it looks like it comes pretty naturally. So I could see that. That's something that I really find unique about Katie, and actually I really respect. So
Our personalities click really well because we're both kind of goofballs, but we like to grind when it's time to grind. For me, it's no secret that so many people like Katie because she's just funny and fun to be around, and I feel like she adds such a super sweet element to to what we have at Novo, and everyone got it in. Everyone had a good time, and more than anything, man, that was an opportunity for all of us to really have a chance to really talk with people. Tyler was honestly one of the smoothest, coolest hosts. Honestly, one of the smoothest dudes I've ever met. He just was real chill, real nice guy, man.
It was great to see Tyler again. We met at one of Lane's camps, like I think it was 2 years ago, and we hit it off pretty good. And so seeing him in his element and getting to talk to him, seeing what he's working towards was really cool, and seeing the turnout. We had a great turnout there, and a lot of people drove a long way to come. And it's tough because I don't know how to react to that, because internally it's like, wow, that's amazing. And then there's part of me that's like, why would anybody do that for, like, you know what I mean? So it's not that I don't appreciate it, it's just like, it's just crazy, strange, surreal, I think. Yeah, this is just the best way I can describe it. I don't often have many conversations at these places, at any of the places really we stop, but the ones I do, I cherish because, I tend to have good connections with the people and deeper conversations, and I like that. They're always memorable, and I did have those in Arizona, so yeah, good stop.
I like the details in his facility. The training was awesome, great equipment, and had a chance to talk to more people just with the setting, and I think the vibe has just been really different than the rest with that. So I'm thankful to end my little adventure with this lift and chill tour with just a positive family vibe here at TNT. So
halfway through my workout, Anthony comes up and says, hey, I want to take you guys to my oatmeal and let you guys check out my place there.
You pick your oats, then you pick your flavor, your fruit, protein, nut, seeds, spices, sweetener, whatever you want. Every order's handmade and custom. So here we go. The first thing that we do when we create this stuff is we go with a sweetener. We have coconut sugar, honey granules, which is dehydrated honey, cane sugar, granulated brown sugar, monk fruit, which is calorie-free and plant-based, sucralose, and then organic cane juice. This is like sugar in the raw. Here are the flavors.
Oh, baby.
Next, we're going to go to the far end, fruits. Dates, figs, golden raisins, dark raisins, pineapples, mixed berries, apples, banana chips, blueberries, cherries, cranberries, and strawberries, and peaches and raspberries, and that's it for fruits. And there's coconut.
Can I get like cherries and like walnuts in there?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Now we have oats. We've got 5 grain rolled with flax. We've got quick rolled oats. Our quick oats are not steamed. They're flattened extra thin so that they absorb moisture faster. Steel cut oats take about 30 minutes to cook. Coach's oats. We just brought these in last week. They're steel cut, but they're baked, so they have a very earthy, nutty flavor, and they cook up in 2 or 3 minutes. They're fantastic. Gluten-free rolled oats. They are steamed. They're kind of more mushy. I don't like them. All oats are naturally gluten-free. It's just these are certified to not be processed on machinery that also processes wheat.
I got blessed. Is that tank right there? It's sharp. It's sharp.
Oh man.
You smell it. Nice.
It's okay. It's okay. Wow. It'd be funny if you spat in it. Like he was like.
What's cool about Anthony is that I've witnessed him start up his business. And I've seen people start up businesses, but he's done it at a time right before me when I joined Ben and started up really leveling up and scaling de novo with Ben. And to see the head start he has on us in terms of years, I think maybe like 3-4 years he's had his operation kind of at that level of scaling up just from a home business has been motivating, because the chances that I can know somebody that I can say they'll bring me in their home, they'll bring me in their business, like they'll show me how things are done. So to be able to go inside Anthony's facility, see how he treats his employees, to see how he is with his business philosophy, to see how he's grown his business, to see the level that he's ready to take it, where he wants to take it, what he wants to do with his business, was super motivating. And I don't mean motivating like, oh, that's cool, maybe one day, but more so in relativity, like, because no one wants to feel alone, you know, and especially in business, and you just think it's you and your employees and your partners, and you're just like, fuck, we don't know what we're doing. And it's good to see someone else who has that and has a facility, and they've made it a bit out of the clear further than you are, and so you can visually see like what next level is.
Yeah, he was really willing to please a group of people that he didn't, and accommodate a group of people he never met before. Being in the position he is, I know he's busy, so it was just, yeah, it was really, really cool to see somebody kind of extend that.
So while we wait for him, what has happened is, it's not going to. I'm making fire. Again, there's always haters that are hating on your oatmeal. That's why it's my oatmeal and not his. There's always haters hating on your oatmeal. That's why it's my oatmeal.com. Again,
You want more?
just a little bit more. Right there. All right, there you go. Yes. To be so successful and so open and so giving, that's an encouraging thing, man. Lets me know that, you know, if I'm trying to make a positive movement, that you can still be positive, and you can still be open, and you can still be giving, and still turn a profit. So, I mean, that was it's really cool, man. I was very, very, very grateful for Anthony and what he did.
20. So I need to verify my account.
There's no thoughts, man, when you give something to people who don't get a lot, because this isn't like the hottest place to come, you get more appreciation than you do in places that are kind of used to, you know, people like, you gotta come to LA, you gotta come to New York. But this place was just, man, thank you guys for coming out. Hello. That was easy.
At this point, this is when Pam left, this is when Katie left, and Joey was just with us for SOC in LA as well. So at this point, it was essentially the dude trip. So we could actually like share the back seat and like lay down. This was also the first 12-hour trip. 12 hours kind of feels like death on your hips. So it would just be like, all right, gas station, use the bathroom, grab some food, let's go. So we can make it to the next city in time.
It was long. Again, I did appreciate, or I did enjoy that scenery, and also geographically. Also to see, again, so much openness and like dead zones with internet and stuff. It's like, oh, these places are kind of untouched, which was pretty cool. To know there's still places out there like that.
Yeah, dude, I just traveled a couple hours. Do you mean to switch? And I was like, just push on through. Don't know what this is.
That's just like a cheap brand baby or
payday.
Yeah.
So basically, it's being an off day. I don't want that. Zabba, you my only friend.
Oh my God. Those are good.
I know.
The more east you go, I also realized that the weather becomes more and more sporadic. It can be sunny at one moment and, you know, 10 minutes later it's raining. So LS and I kind of shared like the middle seat between the driver and the very back seat. This is where we became like the dynamic duo.
Look in my direction. Get out of face, get it!
Interstate 10 feels like the longest highway in the world, you know. For hours and hours, there's not really anything but fields, and occasionally you'll reach a gas station that's been there for decades without any maintenance. And, you know, the change in environment and culture and even the temperature was really interesting to see, especially the difference between just LA to Texas.
Texas I expected to be fun just because that's home. It was set up perfectly for us just because we had such a long drive from, you know, Arizona through, you know, New Mexico, through all of Texas to the heart of Texas.
Texas. I came in with the worst bias of Texas. I was like, I don't want to go to Texas. Like, all right, like I just never been, and I didn't know anything about Texas. I got into Texas, man. I love Texas. I love everything about Texas. It's just so American. It's just so American, and everything about Texas is big, friendly, kind, mannerly. They operate as just a one moving Texas unit, and I like it. They all love Texas together. They have Texas edition cars. Their gas stations are out of control. Imagine if like you were like a person and you were like, I don't know, like you had a growth. And it's like the biggest way you could describe this growth would be like Buc-ee's. That's what Buc-ee's is. It's just like, it's this thing.
Here's what I don't understand. It's probably not good to record this. This is Buc-ee's. Wow. Tell me, how is it really? It's the sweetest club sandwich I've ever had. Like, I feel like this bun it's cornbread, I feel like.
Texas, 3 points. That's a beautiful part of Buc-ee's. If you're listening out there, Mr. Buck, Bucky the Beaver, you the shit.
It's cool to see, also alarming to some degree. It's like this level of excess is promoted, but what would normally be components of meals, like side dishes, you can just get full on. You can eat them as a meal.
We got to Texas and it was already, you know, the sun was already coming up. We get up, we chill out for a little bit, and the next thing you know, it's time to go grind.
You walk in and there's pictures all over the gym of like people who've trained there, who've competed and won all these medals, and there's trophies all over the place, and all this equipment is from like 1980, and it has this like Texas football weight room kind of feel to it that never really got fixed up.
It was the coolest thing to see my Novo fam link up with my Smack fam, and I almost, you know, I mean, I'm a crybaby dude, so it is what it is, you know what I mean? I almost like was shedding tears in between sets, just watching the people kind of interact, you know, and for my people at home to see, hey man, these are the guys I'm telling you about. These are the guys that I talk to you about. These are the guys that you follow, and for them to actually see these people and interact with these people that I love so dearly, you know, it was like the merging of two families, man. It was real sick. It was a sick moment for me. You know, literally a year ago, I would have never even thought that would ever be a possibility. And you know, to see these guys that mean so much to me, I mean, my coach and, you know, a gym owner and everybody else at Smack, to see them all kind of side by side, and you know, I thought that was like one of the coolest moments, man. And the training was awesome. We had people come from, I mean, as far as, you know, Dallas, people coming from 4 or 5 hours away. And again, we have people that come from El Paso.
I think the experiences outside of the gyms were equally as rich as the ones were inside the gyms. It was really cool to be able to actually see, you know, LS's place and see him in his element.
Like, I can't even say his name without laughing. LS is probably one of the most entertaining people and amazing and hilarious people that like I've ever met. Like, He like is just so funny. Definitely is kind of like the glue to the I feel like to the group, and makes everything just hilarious.
He's a machine. It's nothing I haven't known. I've just had more confirmation that he is indeed a machine. Getting to see the home life and like play video games with him, like that was really cool, because that is a part of my slowdown when I get the chance.
LS has become like my partner in crime because of this trip. It was bound to happen at some point, but either way, this trip was like the bonding experience of us two.
Bro, I'm about to freaking eat my body weight, eating for a boo-boo.
The reason we're doing this is because of LS McClain. I just respect what he does so much. And it's like, I think we have that mutually. So it's like for us to tour together, live semi-space, and like to be two fucking like strong-headed dudes like we are, and to like be subscribed to the same higher fucking like respect level, I think it makes us like an unstoppable duo.
LS is one of my best friends now. Like getting to learn about what people do, or like who they really are aside from just lifting weights, it was just pivotal. I think he helped me realize that like maybe I should have a little bit more confidence in myself and the skills that I do have. Can't really put a particular like value on that. So
Just his character. He's a good person. He's another one. It just likes to bring people together. He likes to just kind of include everybody into whatever we're doing, in a conversation and a joke and a thought, just really, and then just super supportive. Has no judgment as far as or anything other than positive. So he's kind of like the cheerleader of the group, I think, which is fitting because of his profession. It shows. It's just he's a loving individual.
What do we got? What do we got?
We got the good. You need to focus, kind of loopy. You need to drive in. I got what you need. I got the babies. I got the 15 on 15. Might even give you a 2-for-1. I'm not really sure yet. I know this. I want that peach mangy. Got you. Trying to take it to the Caribbean. I got that pine cocoa too. It is what it is.
Hold on. The big ones are 50, little ones are 10.
The big ones are 50, the little ones, and the big ones are 5.
The gym is kind of like a time capsule, and in Pennsylvania, the places that I train when I go back home, there were elements that definitely felt like home. Got to see some of my clients and actually talk to them face to face, which was way better than, just doing the internet exchange. It was so clear to see, even when I'd walk around, like everybody was just happy to be there and excited, and it genuinely seems like they get it, like they get the concept of everything that this represents.
But yeah, it was a great gym, just kind of old school and good people.
The thing that surprised me most about Texas, I walked into the door at the gym, I saw all the people there, and what was most surprising was that I was wrong. I walked in there and people from Texas were like, they were one with the Novo culture. And I think what Texas made me realize was that you don't necessarily have to co-sign with the standard culture from where you're from. I thought Texas was going to be a struggle. I thought I'm not going to identify with people here. I don't know if these people are, man, those Texas people were more hip than those Californians or anywhere else or any other place that I've been. I mean, everybody and everything was easygoing. People drove so far, showed so much love, and Texas just has the most familial feels to it. I am humbled by Texas. I will be back to Texas. Texas.
After we got done training, we just invited everybody back to my house. We grilled out, we had a good time, man. It was, as corny as it sounds, it was a chance for me to feed my family. Texas was, it was amazing, man. I was glad that we had a chance to do that.
Awesome people everywhere so far, but Texas has a pride and a love that I didn't think I would feel, and I felt Texas today, dude, and it was amazing. And it's more than de novo support. It's just support from the heart. So thank you, Texas. I will be back.
It already smells like diarrhea.
Since Texas is so large, we had to drive as far as we could and make a stop. And about as far as we could drive in a day is 15 hours. So we matched that. And once it got mapped out, 15 hours was Georgia. And my mom lives in Fayetteville, Georgia. I know that I could never be a truck driver. That's what leaving Texas felt like. I just can't do it. I just would never be able to do it.
Texas is the furthest east I have been at that point in time, so anything beyond that was kind of like a record for me.
So we went to Georgia, just stayed for a night, showered up, got some food, and hit the road the next day. But in the process, I got to see my mom, and everyone got to stay at my mom's house.
Brandon and myself, we stayed in the kids' room, and we shared 2 beautiful twin mattresses.
This is the room that Ellis and I stayed in last night, complete with pink bedding and Powerpuff Girls blankets over there.
It's always cool to see the home environment of the person that you know what I mean? It was beautiful, and we got to walk around the neighborhood, which was beautiful too. But it was short. I mean, it was brief. We basically just slept there and left.
Yeah, and Maryland was another 12-hour drive, so we left that morning. We made it to Maryland by like midnight, where we were actually staying at a hotel for once.
Those were the 2 toughest days in terms of driving. It was an easier drive relatively, and I think the cool thing about Maryland from Atlanta was that you literally drove through the South. Like, you have to drive through like the Southeast United States, and like you feel getting out of the car, you feel like this like, you feel the South, you feel the southernness.
The drives were all of my low points, I'd say.
We were just kind of doing like a little bit of work in the car, getting out, stretching and walking when we could. At one point, like, Ryan asked me for like the Wi-Fi hotspot, and he's literally just trying to play like the most fire songs that he could to keep LS awake.
What I really enjoy most is just diversity in people above all, and to see one big transition slowly from like air to like some like more evergreen patches, and then like desert, and then like just going through like literally like changes in the vegetation, and with that changes in the vegetation, different people, different cultures, different prices on stuff, different foods. By the time I got to the South from California, I was almost just like, where am I? I don't even know where I am anymore.
3:30 a.m. arrived in Maryland. All right, good morning, Maryland.
Good morning, Baltimore.
We just slept and woke up and essentially just hit the road and went to SSPT.
How are you?
Hey.
I'm Matt.
Nice to meet you.
I knew that SSPT would be a smaller turnout. It was not the biggest group, but it was when it first was like, for us, it became more so about, wow, like we are fans now. Because before it was more of us giving tips, giving help, saying like, oh yeah, well try this on your lift, or try this, or people talking to us, thanking us about things. And then I think when we got to SSPT, it turned into Battle Fest.
The moment of unrealness hit its ultimate peak when I looked on the wall and I saw my picture there, and I saw my picture with Sue and Matt.
There's an air of greatness you felt without Matt or Susie or any member there actually exuding it arrogantly. And you just felt like you were in the elite of elite zones. And I remember I said to Jake at one point, I was like, dude, like, this is it. Like, this is the top of the top. For any athlete in any sport, for them to go to the highest place of literally the world team national level coaches, that's an equivalent of going to an Olympic training center for us.
Sue and Matt Gary, dude, they're like the first lady, you know, and the president of powerlifting, in my opinion. I just, you know, they've set such a high standard in terms of just, you know, how you're supposed to not just lift, but just, you know, how you're supposed to act.
That was like the best part of it for me, talking to Max. And I guess I didn't get too much of his background. We were just talking about training the whole time. I don't know, it was just nice to talk training with somebody who was asking good questions. It's almost like no matter where I am, it's still kind of the grind and just trying to get it done as best as I can.
I think Maryland would probably be my high point for multiple reasons. One being that it started to feel more East Coast-ish, and that just feels home as far as like, I've been to SSPT before, so it felt like, oh, this is familiar territory. I know what this is going to be like. I know a lot of people who are going to come out. It was more of a calm session in gym-wise, which was nice.
This was the stop where I noticed that Ben really started to blossom, because I think this was the most personally fulfilling for him.
Grit would be the word I think I have for Ben. Like I see him, man. Like, and I've seen him along this whole way, and like, he just doesn't fucking like, not like outwork, outquit, no quit shit, but like, he'll get it done. And like, and I admire that about him. And like, I know he's got his injury, he's got fucking school, we got work. Like, I live with him. I know the shit we gotta do. And I think to see him keep a level head on this tour, I'm actually impressed. Like, I'm impressed and proud of him. To see his skills grow and things that he's so not used to me is fucking just the dopest fucking shit.
And he kind of just does his own thing. I don't know. We click on a level that I don't think anybody else is truly ever going to get. To be able to talk to him just one-on-one and just walk around in the times that we had where everybody else was sleeping or doing something else, I think was helpful for me and perhaps both of us to kind of maintain our introverted sanity.
When I get to see Ben hit a topic that really interests him, and he just feels like he's the person he's speaking with and sewing into is really actually taking in what he has to say and wants to learn versus taking from him. It's just kind of a beautiful thing, and it's fun to see because he gets so excited, and it's just somebody's passion truly coming out.
And I just have always respected everything that he's done so much. Even before he knew who I was and I knew who he was. You know, him and Ryan, just, if it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't have this opportunity to even know any of these people. So he just is like an older brother to me. Like,
hey, well, you know what? Your love is my drug.
Ben is the reason why Novo started in the first place. He's the master behind all the Novo formulations.
There's really nothing that I can say about Ben that I haven't said a million times, man. I think he is an absolute brilliant genius. But I also feel like this guy has the biggest heart in the world that he's in the process of aligning his intellect with. I don't know that I've ever been prouder of an individual because I'm literally, I guess I'm blessed to be at a moment in his life where I'm watching him evolve. To go there was just, it was absolutely unreal.
Yeah, that's more meaningful to me than words can really speak, especially after, you know, being on the road like that. And
that whole day, you know, I was just super emo, just because I just knew, you know, how much that meant, you know, to not just myself, but to everybody in the crew. You know, it's asinine to think that anyone can do it better in so many areas. And not only have they done it, you know, well, they've done it well for such an extended amount of time.
SSPT is like, with Matt and Susie Gary, it's as if you had like a Tiger Woods, or Arthur Ashe, or a Ian Thorpe, or Michael Jordan say, hey, come to my facility, come on, I'll welcome you with open arms, and I'll teach you greatness. Anyone who's anyone in the IPF, USAPL knows Matt Gary. He's the world team. He and Susie are the world team coach. World team. I got coached by the best coach in the world!
So after we finished training, Ryan and I headed back to the hotel to grab some of our equipment to go to Matt and Gary's house where they made dinner for us because we were going to do a podcast afterwards.
Dinner with Matt and Susie Gary was like, it was just amazing. It was like, they are great people. It's not even about lifting weights or national teams or anything like that. We just met with these people who not only do I see as great on the platform, great in the sport, great for the USAPL, like super motivating, but with just good people, like just good people with a nice home and like cook great food and just brought you in. They were just warm.
It was amazing in its own right, but especially so because we had essentially only been eating like jerky and like gas station food for so long.
Far more meaningful than really any training that was done on this trip was actually getting to sit and eat with our group and Matt and Susie and share perspectives, again, see their life, their home life.
And then we podcasted instantly. It was possibly the most emotionally charged podcast we've ever done. There was one point where towards the end, Matt and I were speaking just back and forth for maybe on just like a straight 15-minute go, and he and I were just like locked eyes, like swallowing the feels, like just going, just talk, just two men just sharing their pure respect for one another. But for him to have that respect for the crew, it was just like this catharsis of like, I feel this way about you, I feel this way about you. And it's seldomly seen, I think, in platonic relationships, and you see it so much in romance when people are like, I feel this way, I want to be romantic. But for someone just to say work-wise, person-wise, career-wise, like philosophy-wise, we have that. I only have those type of bonds in Novo. And for me to get a bond like that outside of my family or outside of Novo, it's almost one of those moments that you don't want to give to the public because it was just so good. But I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we literally broke bread. I'm glad we lifted weights. It was something close to the perfect day, SSPT.
Both of you guys were there offering tips to a lifter who was a nobody. I mean, I got dead last at the Arnold, and it really continued from there on out. And I didn't have a handler, and you guys were always offering helpful tips. And to somebody who's competing alone, who you guys had no idea who I was, and there was no prowess. So like, I wasn't hitting world record squats. I was barely staying, in the meet, like holding my own. So that, it had a major impact on me.
I kind of just sat back and listened and tried to absorb as much of it as I could. It's crazy to think that a year ago, like what I was doing, and now like a year later, I'm sitting at a table with some of the best athletes in powerlifting, in addition to some of the best coaches in powerlifting. Was pretty crazy and a little intimidating, to be honest.
It always helps to have somebody who's kind of battling many of the same things you are, to just talk to. I'll never forget that day for probably the rest of my life. Like it was just a really great night.
A couple moments during the podcast that we had that I just, I couldn't hold it in to, put that all aside and not necessarily talk even about lifting, just life in general. It was an awesome moment being there with Matt and Sue, but it was even more of an awesome moment, realizing, what was taking place right, in front of my eyes.
Like we were talking about this earlier, and all this stuff fades. What people are going to remember most is how we made you feel, and the relationships that we had. You're not going to remember the numbers and the PRs and all that kind of stuff. Not to say that that's meaningless, but that stuff's going to fade, but you're truly going to remember how we made you feel.
New York City! New York City's great! I love New York. New York loves me. Getting tired on the bike for New York. Baby, yeah!
I think the day that everybody was looking forward to, at least I was, was the last drive from Maryland, because it was easy relative to everything we've done so far. East Coast is weird because it's either hell in a city jungle or just the absolute most beautiful countryside you've ever seen. Green and plush and open. And I think we got to enjoy some of that. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? This is dirty again. And then you get out and then you go on the Jersey Turnpike, which costs $42 in tolls. And so we get into New York, and I'm a city person. I'm from Chicago. As soon as we drove into New York, it's like life, people everywhere, garbage on the street, people stacked on top of people, honking horns. Some guy cut me off. I'm like, yes, yes, honk that horn, sir. I love this place. I love you. Like, and it's just fucking chaos, and it's shit everywhere, and I love it. I don't know why. I like it. I like it. I like the chaos. It's something about it is appealing to me. And then you see the Manhattan skyline, and you can see all the other boroughs, and you see Brooklyn Bridge coming in. It's the highest level of artificial living, and I like it. I love. Don't get me wrong. I ride my bike every morning, and I do my yoga in a field and Tai Chi. But there's something very appealing to me about a totally artificial way to live. You're living in buildings and streets, and you don't even see a tree, and like something about it is cool to me. So I love that about New York. So once we hit that on the drive, it was like it's a sense of home to me, to be totally honest with you.
Like getting in and finally at long last, getting up the elevator, getting all our stuff into the place where we were staying. And we hadn't even done the event yet, but it just felt good to know that like we don't really have to drive anymore. Like at this point, we'll have the event and we're kind of just, that's it. So knowing it was the last stop was kind of a relief.
Everybody gets into the place and we can have a chance to chill for like 2.5 seconds.
We dropped off the car that we'd spent hours and hours and miles in, so that was kind of a bittersweet moment. And that was interesting because from here on we'd be on foot for essentially the rest of the entire time that we were out in New York. We started the trek there, we took the subway, we walked a bit.
It's to work down in the ways, you know, a little panhandling. I'm done with that life, so, you know, I started lifting. Don't worry about that.
I think we all kind of felt the end of it like this is closing something that was great, and I don't think there could be a better ending to that.
We were tired, but as soon as I walked in that room, it was just like, let's do this. It was people. Like I thrive off that. Like people were everywhere.
It reminded me a lot of Barbell Brigade. It was just super deep, and I was already, I ain't gonna lie, I was already kind of, you know, I was being a baby about it. I was sleepy. I wanted to take a nap. I wasn't able to take a nap. I was hungry. Brandon comes over to me like, hey man, I found a spot up top. What? Let's go. So we go up top. No joke. One of the guys that came all the way from Singapore, mind you, he just showed so much love, man, and just was so nice, and I was ready to roll after that. That place started bumping, man, and people were just moving weight.
Taylor was in there. Katie made it back. She jumped back in on the tour there.
I've only been here one other time, and so to be able to come back here with people that I know and a group of people and like have an event here with Novo was just awesome. Being able to train with people associated with Novo on the tribe and seeing people that I haven't seen for a while that I know.
Katie got 2 ridiculous AMRAPs in. I would never AMRAP twice, man. She went ham twice.
I lifted really well, so I guess that's a demonstration of the atmosphere, you know, helping with that. As we came east, at least for me, it was like it kept getting stronger and stronger.
It was cool. Like the place is cool. We had like a crazy turnout. There was a ton of people there. I felt like every couple seconds like somebody was asking me something and I was trying to respond, and then like in the middle of that response like somebody would ask me something else. So it was like stressful for me, but reassuring also at the same time to know that we have like that degree of support.
There are things about Jake that are very familiar to me. Jake is very, very quiet, and he speaks up whenever he feels compelled to. There's a lot of times where I think I do know what's going on inside Jake's brain. And then Jake speaks and I'm like, if I went to school for like twice the length that I did, I might be able to understand what you just said.
People sleep on Jake so hard, man. And Jake is low-key one of the most intelligent people. I feel dumb when I talk to him, even when he's like just cracking jokes. I just didn't know what to expect from Jake because he's hella quiet. So, you know, but when he speaks, it's always something super intelligent, or it's always something like just ridiculously funny. And his shoe game is ridiculous, and his music taste is, you know, right up my alley. So
I just always really enjoy the conversations that I have with him. So I feel like this trip too, like we were able to have that time to have those conversations, and it's just he definitely is someone that I feel like I can always trust and always has my back. So,
like I tell Jake, he's my spirit animal. I think when you feel you have similar personality types, a lot of it's just a nonverbal kind of connection that you share.
It was actually a defining moment of driving from Sacramento to LA and just hearing him talk and ask questions and getting that out, and the details in his response on a certain topic was absolutely mind-blowing. And this is an individual who I really didn't know and may have said a dozen of words with, like, in the course of a year.
I think watching Jake on this, it was dope to see how much of like really a family member he's really kind of become. Like, he's still Jake and he's still in his own lone wolf ways, and he always will be. But like the way that dude treats me, or like share shit with me, or like the way we talk, and like we just really get along. And for him to come and do some absolutely absurd shit, like drive 4,000 miles, it meant a lot, because it shows me that like so many people are all talk, but like I have literally someone in my life who, like, if we say we're gonna do some stupid fucking crazy shit, like he's down to do it.
For everybody to have an opportunity to train, man, again, for me, that's always a plus, and I feel like I feed off of that. And it was in the greatest city in the world, man. It was in New York. So, I mean, how could you not have a good time?
There was a sense of finality in just reaching here, and then I think from there, it was almost like, as many people say, go black. Physical presence exists, but it's like mentally I'm just like zombie.
Paulie and Rebecca, thank you. Although you weren't present, for letting us host it. To lift at an event like that, to host at a venue like that, it fits directly into the lifting culture that we have. And so to go in there, the transition, it was seamless. I think I get hard on myself about my work, if it's good or not. I never really know if it's good or not. Like, I don't know, I just put it out. And so for me, when I see people, it's like validation to me. And so like I see a room full of people, and to me it's like, these people believe in me. Like, these people got up out of their fucking life. Like, everyone in that room is gonna be dead and gone. And they're spending a chunk of their life to come and like talk to me and shake my hand and see me and meet me. That just makes me instantly feel like, fuck, man, me, that's insane to me. That's mind-blowing to me. And I will never get used to it, no matter how many years I do this. It was all over dope. We sold out of taupe. Samples gone. Man, just thank you for all that love.
I knew New York was gonna be a great stop. It was a great stop. New Yorkers are just amazing. It was just a perfect way to end it. Just a ton of people came out. Man, everywhere we go, the Novo culture is the same. Doesn't matter what city it's in. So it's just, it's humbling, man. It's like, people say that and it's cheesy as fuck, but like, I really feel like, thank you. So thank you.
I do want to publicly say, like, if it weren't for the team and for like you guys, like we would literally be dudes in a house just talking to each other. Like, it's insane. So I wish I could have said this at every stop, but just a simple like feels for real, like a thank you. Like we have momentum because we have good people, and it's not even ours. It's like, it's everyone's to enjoy this and learn from. So just from the bottom of my heart, and everyone, thank you. So that's it.
We just ate some grub, had a good time, and just kind of celebrated for everything that we'd done so far in the last 2 weeks.
That was the most ridiculous meal of the entire trip. I felt like I was gonna vomit, but it was so good. I couldn't stop eating.
From that point on, we just kind of had like a few more days in New York to basically ourselves before we'd all go back home.
Coming to New York and being able to stay here for a couple of days and explore with the whole group, I've really been able to soak up New York.
It's always something special when you're around the de novo culture. From anyone else who's ever been a part of it or even like witnessed it in person, even for a small amount of time, it's something special. And to spend 2 weeks with these guys and to create something like this out of it, it's definitely a bucket list kind of thing.
Like, it went to plan, you know, and that's all I can really say about it, is that it went to plan. So, and nothing ever goes to plan, ever. And this did. And so for that, I am forever grateful, and it's an experience with my team that I'll never forget. And it's monumental for us to do something like this, because one, we've never done it, and two, I have never seen anybody else do it. So
to have like almost our extended family, like become like even closer and more tight knit. I feel like I'm growing, feel like the amount of people that I feel like I can trust and that I feel comfortable around. If you just invest in like letting people in, I know for some people that's harder. And I've been given the opportunity to kind of be around people long enough to where there's almost no choice, like where you're in a car with people for like 12 hours, like you kind of have to let them in. But if you take that opportunity, you're gonna come away with friends and more people that you can reach out to, and you're just gonna be a better person.
I first started off saying it was just really neat to see what everybody else was doing in different facilities other than being stuck in Montana, just kind of on an island itself. It was really neat to kind of see, just drive the countryside and see the different things. So, and different people and the energy and everything.
I can check it off the bucket list, driving cross country, that there are things that have been added to the bucket list to go back and see that were just really impactful and meaningful to me. I think sometimes when you do things that aren't necessarily what your preferences are, there's stimulus on a more rapid time scale to really think about things and accelerate things that you say you want versus what you don't want. Being able to kind of connect with key people along the way, I think was really impactful and memorable as well.
I'm just gonna miss seeing people's faces on a daily basis, wondering whether or not I'm gonna be sleeping on the floor or not. You know what I'm saying? And you get used to being around people, even if you don't want to be around them or not. Like you get used to being around people, man. I mean, because it's family, and that's when you know, that you're part of something special. When even if it's not in the greatest conditions, you still miss those bad conditions. You just want to be a part of those people.